Ooh. Now, many people try and portray a life that they are not living. Like we see it all over on Instagram, sometimes YouTube too. It's harder to fake it on YouTube than Instagram. But time and time again, timeless in lifespan of life, you've seen people trying to portray a life that they're not living. Cars that they don't really own, houses that they don't really own, and money that they aren't really making. But as a politician, it is your job to be as relatable as possible with your constituents, with the people who are voting for you, so that they know that that you're relatable. That's the goal of a politician, to be relatable, and to create, instead of being up here, create more of a equalize, or more of the leader that's leading the pathway, but on the same type of level playing field. You know what I'm saying? Rather than the leader being up here and telling people what to do, you are more of like the leader up here, leading the mission, right? But this is where the man himself, Joe Biden, comes into play. So let's tap in.
A little boo baby, she's so freaky and so wavy. Them hips, eyes, thighs, driving me crazy.
Alright, so boom, Wagwan bruv, welcome back to another installment of Edutainment, the place where you are laughing, being entertained, but most importantly, where you are learning something that you can apply to your own personal life and make it better. Hence the term edutainment. How you doing today? Hopefully you're doing more and saying less. Now, the man himself, Joe Biden, former VP to Mr. Barack Obama, he is currently running for office. And it only makes sense that I do a video on him, ride the YouTube algorithm, all that good stuff. But yeah, no long talk, let's go straight to it. How Joe Biden made his millions with an M. Let's go straight to it.
Joe Biden used to joke about being the poorest member of Congress.
Don't hold it against me that I don't own a single stock or bond. Don't hold it, I have no savings account.
Now, he's among the richest Democrats running for president. Life after the vice presidency fattened Biden's wallet. He and his wife, Jill, made more than $15 million in 2017 and 2018 combined. That's easily the most out of the 2020 Democratic primary candidates who have released their taxes. And Biden's sudden explosion of wealth doesn't quite square with the image he's pitched to Americans for years.
All my time in public life, since I've gotten involved, I've been referred to as middle-class Joe. It's not always meant as a compliment. Let me say this simply and clearly, and I mean this. The country wasn't built by Wall Street bankers, CEOs, and hedge fund managers. It was built by you. It was built by the great American middle class.
It was built by you, constantly buying stuff, constantly feeding into the economy. You know what's funny, right? People always think like having a minimalistic approach to life would actually hurt the economy. But actually, it definitely benefit the economy, because people will have more money, meaning that they'll be kinder, meaning that they will be more willing to give where needed, meaning that more than likely crime rates and stuff like that will also go down. So as a politician, is a fine line between being a leader but also being relatable. You know what I'm saying? So him calling himself middle class Joe, or I think that's what he said, but making like $1 million in terms of, was it pre-tax or, well, $1 million. He had $1 million. Whether it was pre-tax or post or after tax, it's still a lot, right? So it's hard to be relatable when you're making $1 million, because the average person is not making anywhere close to that. More like, I think 30 or 40K per year. It's interesting. That's interesting.
Biden may once have been part of that middle class. He's definitely not anymore. 2016 was Biden's last year as an elected official after more than 4 decades. The Bidens made about $400,000 that year. That's more than 6 times the US median income.
Oh, there you go. The median income is $60,000. Crazy. Crazy.
Go crazy. Go stupid. Go crazy. Go stupid. Go crazy. Yeah.
So I've always talked about this, but I think I need to harp on it like time and time again because not everybody watches all my videos. I know, I understand. You're busy people. You can't watch every single video that I put out. It's okay.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch.
I understand, but I don't understand. But essentially, the goal to how to manage your income is not necessarily making more money, but it is important, but it's to cut off your expenses. All the needless spending that you make, cut it down, right? Like whether it be Netflix, whether it be subscription services, whatever things that you don't need in the house, cut it down. And other ways to like lower your heating bill, when you leave the house, turn down the temperature in the house, and the thermometer, turn it down. Maybe it's usually 22 degrees, turn it down to 18 or 19. And then when you're in the house, you can put it back up, and then also wear warmer clothing, stuff like that. And rather than letting the water run, turn the water off, brush your teeth, and then continue, right? Things such as this allow you to save money. It may not seem like a lot, but taking like a frugal approach to life and using coupons and really minimizing your expenses, and then looking at other income sources that you can use like a side hustle to increase your income. This is the tried and true way to make more money. No cap, right? And one of the first goals you should have is $1,000 in your savings account, just so that you have some room to breathe. So that if an emergency happens, you're good, you're safe and sound. And then obviously you look to paying off any of your current debts, which are just sucking away at your income. Car payment, student loans, whatever else you got, credit cards. And then also further building your emergency fund to at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. And you can only do that if you look at your expenses.
Biden really started making money after he left the Obama administration in 2017. The couple raked in more than $11 million that year. They made another $4.6 million last year. They now say they have between $2.2 million and $8 million in assets. They paid about a third of their adjusted gross income in federal income taxes in 2017. Last year, they paid about $1.5 million in taxes. So, where did all that money come from? Mostly books and speaking fees.
Yeah.
The Bidens have 2 S corporations that get paid for their book deals and speaking gigs. Those 2017 Trump tax cuts that are a punching bag for Biden and his 2020 rivals, they gave a 20% tax break to owners of businesses like the Bidens have. The S Corps made about $10 million combined in 2017. They took in about $3.2 million last year. Joe Biden's book, Promise Me, Dad, came out in November 2017. It followed the 2015 death of his son, Beau. Jill Biden's book, Where the Light Enters, was released in May 2019. Joe Biden promoted his book with a tour in 2017 and 2018.
You know what I've always found is autobiographies. I'm not saying making a book is hard, right? But talking about your life is not that hard. I'm just saying, like, right? When you're already a notable figure, or you already have some brand awareness, in this case, right? VP, Vice President of the United States, it's pretty easy to start making like a decent amount of money in terms of like book sales, audiobooks, stuff like that. So having content that is improving someone's life is one thing, like maybe how to lose weight, how to make more money, or how to have better relationships. That's one thing, right? But just talking about your life, I could do that all day if I wanted to. I'm just saying.
He made tens of thousands of dollars for just about every stop. He raked in as much as $106,000 for one stop. And fees for nearly 20 paid speeches, mostly at universities, in those 2 years ranged from $66,000 to $190,000. The Bidens seem to be enjoying their new wealth. They're renting a lavish 12,000 square foot house in Virginia. They also bought a $2.7 million beach house in Delaware since Joe Biden left the Obama administration. Their charitable giving also rose along with their income. The Bidens put about $275,000, or 6% of their adjusted gross income.
That's what's up, though. That's what's up. The more money you have, and the more financially free you have, the more willing you are to give freely without expecting to get back, right? Another pro tip I always say on a lot of my videos is to never lend money that you aren't willing to lose. If someone asks you for money, give it to them. They ask you for 50, give them 50, give them 30, give them a lesser amount, or don't give them anything. And you will be freed of the stress of asking them for money. Because in a lot of cases, you try to compromise yourself to be nice to this person and help them because you trust them, but then if they don't pay you on time or at all, now you are compromised financially and you've just lost a friendship. So always give. Shout out to Joe Biden though.
Toward charities last year. In 2017, they gave more than $1 million to charity, about 9% of their income. That was up from 1.5% in 2016. But Biden's riches could cause some headaches for him. While he has led just about every national and state poll since he jumped into the race, his lead has started to shrink. The Democratic contenders have broadly focused on helping workers and reining in companies and the wealthy. Biden has been less aggressive toward business than most of his rivals. And he is already facing heat for being too cozy with the rich.
Recently, in remarks to a group of wealthy donors, as you were speaking about the problem of income inequality in this country, you said, we shouldn't, quote, demonize the rich. You said, nobody has to be punished. No one's standard of living would change. Nothing would fundamentally change. What did you mean by that?
What I meant by that is, look, Donald Trump thinks Wall Street built America. Ordinary middle-class Americans built America.
We reached out to the Biden campaign about whether Biden's riches clash with his campaign message. A spokesman said, fighting for working families has been the defining cause of Joe Biden's life. He added that Biden is running to restore the American middle class, with everybody in on the deal this time. It remains to be seen whether Biden still tries to craft an image around middle-class Joe as he continues his campaign, especially if he wins the Democratic nomination and takes on President Trump in 2020. The president is a self-professed billionaire who hasn't released his tax returns. He broke with decades of precedent in refusing to release them. 10 years of Trump tax returns from the 1980s and 1990s, obtained by the New York Times, show massive losses for the president's businesses. He didn't pay federal income taxes in 8 of those 10 years. And since Trump was first running for president, Biden has cast him as out of touch with everyday Americans.
How can there be pleasure in saying you're fired? He's trying to tell us he cares about the middle class. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
I don't know, man. I think just based on my own immigrant background, I'll always have be in touch with money and not getting lost in the sauce of having a lot of money, because I know what it's like to have not a lot of money or to manage, to be on a budget, right? I've had situations where in order to save money on the water utilities, we'll use a bucket, put the water in a bucket, and then start cleaning ourselves. And then clean instead of having the water come from the shower head, put the water in a bucket, use it to clean yourself. Once it's empty, you refill it and clean yourself, right? That's how you save money on water. And obviously, you don't eat out. You eat at home, cook. That's it, man. Anytime I ask them for McDonald's, they're like, yo, do you have McDonald's money? No? Alright. You have rice at home. Rice and chicken at home. Yo. I don't know, man. That's interesting. Because a lot of people pretend like they have money, right? Now he's pretending like he doesn't have as much money. But I think one of his, definitely his bright spots is the fact that he does give, I think it was $1 million to charity. So, he's not too out of touch, per se. But yo, shout out to Biden, shout out to Bernie. Y'all do your thing out there in America and get some healthcare. Get some healthcare, affordable healthcare. You know what I'm saying? But yo, God bless, much love, peace and joy. Namaste. Always remember, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. And too much of any good thing is good for nothing. Stack your money, act broke, get your bread, and all that comes too. Alright fam, deuces.
A little boo baby, she's so freaky and so wavy. Them hips, eyes, thighs, driving me crazy. Those